Walter Stockton. You know that guy, right? You remember Walter Stockton. Let's hear it for Walter Stockton. Everybody knows Walter Stockton. Well, Walter represents, all the words that I used earlier to describe IGHL. Compassion, patience, dedication, standard of excellence, joy, because Walter is IGHL. It was Walter's vision 34 years ago that got this entire organization started, and 3+ decades later, what started with one man's vision has grown into 1,600 employees, residential programs, day hab programs, NIS, Angela's House, the Flower Barn, Flight 800 Memorial in South Point Beach, IGHL's Bed and Breakfast, the Innovative Health is Wealth program, just amazing programs, compassionate people. Ladies and gentlemen, please give IGHL's leader, Walter Stockton, a warm welcome.
Thank you, Ann, and thank all of you again for coming. It just never ceases to amaze me when I walk in this building on this special Thursday night every year to see how many people continue to support us and come back year after year. We've got a large residential care network, and family members here know that at the end of the rainbow for them, when their time for giving care is up, that they want a residential placement to be there. And for years and years, that was what was promised them. But now that's not going to be the case. There will be very few residential opportunities, new residential opportunities offered. Fortunately, there's enough residential beds in the system that when emergencies happen or when things have to happen, there'll be a bed. There'll be a bed for somebody. But it's going to be different. So there's going to be a lot more services that are offered at home. There'll be a lot more family support kinds of opportunities to where they can beef up families to be able to serve the needs of their children and their siblings at home longer. It's an obviously much cheaper alternative, but that's going to be the future. What we know is day programs today, that's going to change. They want a lot more things in the community, but they want a lot more employment, real employment rather than supported employment. And that works fine for people who are high functioning and can do the job. We happen to have over the years dealt with a lot of people whose skill levels are not such that they go out in the community and do the work that we do. But we do create work opportunities for them so that whatever their level of functioning is and whatever they can accomplish, they do, and they actually get paid. For example, our guys that work at the Flower Barn, there's a lot of them here tonight, they earn a salary for working there, and they take that money home and they spend it, they use it towards their room and board. But a lot of our people can't do that. So that's why we're going to continue to hopefully have the day programs that we have. We certainly will continue to have our residential opportunities going into the future. I do have one nice announcement that in the next month or so we'll be opening the third Angela's House. We have two we have one in East Moriches, we have one in Smithtown, and the third one is right down the street here in Stony Brook. It's adjacent to the Stony Brook University Hospital, who provides our health care, and there's going to be 8 children there. 5 of them are vent dependent, so it's a very medically frail house, but these kids have been spread out all over the Northeast, and now they're going to be able to come back home and be close to their families. I'd like to mention some unsung heroes that work at IGHL. There's a lot of people that make this place work. There's a lot of people that spend a big portion of their lives and then leave their families and work hard and get called in at midnight and come in at 4 o'clock in the morning when the snow starts or when the ice comes down. And I'd like to start with my executive team, my executive committee. And if you hold your applause to the end, I've done this alphabetically. Our Senior Director of Operations, Bob DeBester. Our Senior Director of Human Resources, Dory Geyer. Our Senior Director of Quality Assurance, Bill Herrick. The Assistant to the CEO and Director of the IGHL Foundation, Frank Lombardi. Chief Financial Officer, Mary Beth Mag. Executive Director of Angeles House, Bob Policastro. Senior Director of Programs, Tom Trackevel. And Helen Wilder, who's the Executive Director of NIS. This is my team, and they work very hard. Thank you, guys. I also want to acknowledge a group of directors who really make sure that at IGHL, where the rubber meets the road, that they're there at every step of the way. And they do the training, they do the supervising, they put together the teamwork, the skill level of all the people that do all the things we need. And that's our directors of service, and I don't think over the years I've ever mentioned them, but I'd like to do that tonight. I'll start with Sue Fernandez. You saw her on the video. She's our Director of Day Programs. Our Director of Clinic Services, Dr. Barbara Carey Shaw. Tracy Del Duca, the Director of Family Services. Willie DePiro, our Controller. Linda Ganji, the Director of Residential Services. Faith Maison, the Director of Medically Frail Nursing. Joyce McLeese, the Director of Residential Services. Frank McGovern, the Director of Management Information Systems. Angie Monroe, Director of Residential Medical Services. Mike Schifrin, Director of Residential Services. Maureen Vasquez, Controller. And Cindy Young's Controller. This is a great team of people that work very hard, and I want to congratulate them. It's my pleasure at this time to introduce my good friend, John Tortorella, who's being honored tonight for the very special work he does not only in the community but for IGHL. And I don't know if you noticed, but John and Ed have sort of something in common. They both dig in the dirt and they both put things in the ground. As Frank mentioned, most of you know the name of John Tortorella as the coach of the hockey coach of the New York Rangers. You see John's name, though, associated with award-winning pools and spa designs throughout Long Island and beyond. John oversees the concept, design, and construction of every pool that bears his name. And he has since the very beginning. John founded J. Tortorella Swimming Pools in 1981, having worked his way through school, cleaning pools, and spending years working side by side with his father, a mason by trade. John not only saw the lack of creativity and quality in the pool industry, he knew he could do better. John was right. Today, John Tortorella Swimming Pools ranks among the top firms nationwide. Based in Southampton and Hampton Bays, his company has designed some of the most spectacular pools on Long Island. His pools have been showcased in such leading publications as House and Gardens, Forbes, and the New York Times. The company's numerous awards include those from the National Swimming Pool Institute, Northeast Spa and Pool Design Association, and the Pool and Spa News. J. Tortorella Swimming Pools was also named the best of the best in the popular dance papers. John's business accomplishments expand way beyond the pool and spa industry. The pool business is just one of his many companies that John has created. His other companies include AutoChem, J. Tortorella Heating and Gas, and Sunstream USA. AutoChem is a bulk chlorine distributor and supplier of commercial pool chemicals. With a fleet of tankers and proven 20-year service record, AutoChem meets the commercial pool needs of a growing base of customers in New York. John Tortorella Heating and Gas provides Long Island homes and businesses with the warmth, comfort, and convenience of propane, one of the world's cleanest, most versatile sources of energy. Sunstream USA is a full-service provider of state-of-the-art residential and commercial renewable energy systems, founded in 2003 by John, who is an avid environmentalist. Sunstream ranks among the fastest-growing companies of its kind on the market and plans to expand beyond New York tri-state area in the near future. In addition to running all these companies, John also is very active in his community and industry. He has been involved in the Northeast Spa and Pool Association, National Swimming Pool Institute, locally in the Southampton Business Alliance, the Southampton Little League, the Southampton Youth Soccer Association, as well as the American Heart Association, which honored him in 2004 for his years of dedicated services. John also happens to be the landlord of one of our Dayhab programs, and you may have seen in some of our publications we have our East End art program, and John and I were looking at that a couple of months ago, and John said, you know, this should have this and this should have that, and I said, yeah, John, but we're talking about an environment where we don't have a lot of money. And John says, let me think about it. Well, next week or the week after, we have a whole new art center, and it's all thanks to John for doing it totally on his own. So thank you, John. I've known John for 15 years. He's a pillar of the community where we both reside and a leader in business and philanthropy. I'm proud to call John Tortorella a good friend to myself personally and to the IGHL family. Our congratulations to John, his wife, his 3 wonderful sons. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to introduce you to Mr. John Tortorella.
Thank you, Walter. I don't recognize that guy you were just talking about, by the way. Thank you for all those nice, kind words. Yes, I am not John Tortorella, the Rangers coach. Obviously, by now, you guys know that. But I do get all the bad emails when they lose, but none when they win. Last week, not one. I met Ed earlier, and his first thing out of his mouth, he says, "You in a swimming pool business?" I says, "Yes." He says, "You have any room underneath those holes?" I replied, "Yes. There's always room." I'm very honored to be part of this organization, to be honored. I've never seen such a wonderful, wonderful organization who does so much. They do so much for so many people, so very many well-deserving people. Firsthand, I've seen it in Mauritius, at their big center there, and in Hampton Bays. I've never seen such very hardworking, caring, loving staff. My God, I mean, when I walk in there, I feel good. There's positivity. And all the people they care for, they see that, they feel that, okay, and it feeds them. When I walk into the Hampton Bay Center, there's not one person that they care for that's not smiling, looking to shake hands or wave. I've never seen a sad person in any of their centers. This is due to all of you, Walter, and all the rest of your staff. Great, great job. Obviously, as we know, as Walter said, that a lot of the funds are being cut because of budgets, and yet there's so many more needy people that they can help. They need their talents, they need their help, but funds are hard to come by. A friend of mine last week called me and he said, "I understand you're being honored by IGHL. It's a wonderful organization." He says, "My son, as you know, has autism. My wife's concern and mine is that when we're no longer here, who's going to take care of my boy?" That hurt. Because it's not, you need more centers. We need to expand all these wonderful people services and all the things that they do, okay? There's a lot of people out there that they can use their talent to make them feel better about themselves, educate them, make them feel happy as they are, as we see every single day. I have to say that most of us, all of us actually, every single day, we have a very well-deserving organization looking for resources. And we do give. And that's what we should do, just to help them out. But as far as I'm concerned, this organization is at the top of my list, and that's the first organization that I would write a check for before I write a check to another organization, because there's an awful lot of people that need help, and these are the people that are able to do it. Thank you very much.